Hello guys, so we're back to the show that nobody asked for, but I decided to give it to you anyways. We got power rankings. Now, since we're in the wild card, I felt like it'd be appropriate here. So, in the bottom tiers, you've got praying for a better 2022 because they didn't make the playoffs. Some of them came close, like the Colts and the Saints, and that's the Dolphins too, I suppose, and the Chargers. But what we're going to look at is the ones who did make it. So there's 14 teams because there's 7 per conference, and I'm going to rank them. Mediocre, good, great, elite. I'm also going to number each one. So at number 14, you have the Philadelphia Eagles. They haven't won a game against any playoff teams, and they have both offensive and defensive issues. Miles Sanders is a really good running back, but they're going up against the Bucs, who have the best run defense, or one of the best run defenses in the league, especially when they get Shaq Barrett and JPP back. Basically, this is an okay team, but I'd argue they're worse than some teams that didn't even make the playoffs. For number 13, you have the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are also mediocre. Their defense is not good. Roethlisberger is really weighing them down. They're basically just bringing his reanimated corpse around with them everywhere they go. They've lost badly to a lot of playoff-bound teams, including the Chiefs, who rocked them just a few weeks ago and who they play Saturday. So it would be interesting, but they're meh. Like, they came about because the Jaguars beat the Colts, so that should say something. Next, you have the Las Vegas Raiders. They do have a lot of heart, in the same way the Lions do, but not so differently from the Lions. They also, their team isn't that great. They have a lot of injuries, and people that were fired, such as John Gruden, and people that were cut, such as Henry Ruggs III, because of a bad DUI case. I was underestimating them, but they were able to beat the Colts and the Chargers, sealing the deal for them to enter the playoffs. Good for them. But I don't see them having much success in the playoffs here. Next, you have the good category, and starting it off is the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners had a really good showing against the Rams, but that's really the only good showing they've had against most playoff teams. They did well against the Packers, which is nice, and they do have a lot of heart. Deebo Samuel's a monster, but Jimmy G ultimately weighs them down, I'd say, so I have them here at the bottom of the good list. Next, you have at number 10, you have the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are really good, and it's kind of weird to put them here, but these are a lot of good teams ahead of them. Despite being number 3 in the AFC, their offense has been stalling a little bit over time. It's hard to try and give them a very, very great rating. They looked very powerful at the start of the season, shutting out 2 teams. But since then, they've been stalling out in critical situations, such as in the Bucs game, where the first half they did awful and couldn't do it in overtime. I got the Bills at number 10. Next, you have the Patriots. Despite their loss to Miami, I think the Pats have a really powerful offense led by the rookie Mac Jones at quarterback. The Pats are an interesting bunch. It's kind of hard to figure them out, but I think they're a really good team. And I don't know, I just have this gut feeling about them that they'll do pretty well. Next, you have the Dallas Cowboys. It's hard to judge the Cowboys, really. Like, that they are a good bunch, I'll admit, but like the Bills, they stall a lot. Like the Cardinals, who, besides that game last week, have lost like 5 games. They lost to the Seahawks on Sunday. Yeah, I'll talk about the Cardinals later, but the Cowboys, they look like they're ready to do their normal end of season collapse, and it's not going to be pretty. Next, at number 7, you have the Los Angeles Rams. They're a very good team in the great category, but Stafford has been really weighing them down, it would seem. Against the 49ers, he looked very poor. However, they've been able to seal the deal against most playoff teams like the Bucs, the Cardinals. They looked good in some ways against the Packers, but I don't know. It's hard placing them because some days they look real hot, some days they look real cold, freezer cold, but I still think that they're a very great team. Next, you have at number 6 the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, they've been in free fall. However, their offense has been pretty good against a lot of playoff teams. They almost beat the Packers, and the only reason they didn't was because of some dumb play that one of their guys made. But they beat the Rams once. They beat San Francisco both times they've met. They beat the Cowboys. I think that they are a very, very good team, well put together. And while they have been stalled here, I think they edge out over the Rams, personally. And next you have Tennessee Titans. If the Titans get Derrick Henry back, they will be very great. However, the way they look right now, I would put them in good, but they have an extra week for him to heal up because they have the first round bye, being the AFC first seed. They have a bye. Tannehill isn't great. They stalled against the Steelers, which was very ugly. They weren't looking that dominant against the Texans near the end there, but they got the job done. But on the other hand, they've beaten teams like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Colts, the Saints. They're a well put together team. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Next, you have the elite teams. Starting them off is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are a very well put together team. They came back from a bad start and they're looking very solid. I have nothing to say but good about them. Yeah, so that's the Chiefs. In third place come the Green Bay Packers, the first seed in the NFC. Despite me ranting and raving about them, they are a very good team. I will admit they do have some good shots here to try and make it all the way. And I won't call them favorites, but they are very, very good looking. They looked kind of poor over the last few weeks, but they're still a really good team overall, and I'm sure with Aaron Rodgers they would have beat Kansas City back when they played them. Second place, you have the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals beat up on a lot of different teams. They almost beat the Packers earlier. Didn't quite edge them out. They had the edge out on the Chiefs though, when they beat them with a last-second kick to win the game. Despite being 10-7, this team is my AFC favorite. They looked very strong, and they have a lot of heart. That's why I put Cincinnati Bengals at number 2. And number 1, you've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It may be biased, but they've been looking stellar. They looked kind of poor against the Jets. However, don't count Brady out. He won them in the in the second half, and that's all that really matters in the end. They have been shut out by the Saints, lost to the Saints, lost to the football team, and lost to the Rams. Against all over teams, they've looked pretty dominant for the most part, including the Eagles. Despite it being a 6-point win, we pretty much held them by the wing until the fourth quarter. We have home field advantage until the NFC Championship at least. We're getting Fournette back as well as Shaq Barrett and JPP. And of course, they have Tom Brady, who is just another beast in the playoffs. So I have the Bucs at number 1. So it goes 14 Eagles, 13 Steelers, 12 Raiders, 11 49ers, 10 Bills, 9 Patriots, 8 Cowboys, 7 Rams, 6 Cardinals, 5 Titans, 4 Chiefs, 3 Packers, 2 Bengals, 1 Buccaneers. So that'll be it for the power rankings. I'll come back next week to see how we do. I'll also do predictions for the entire playoffs in the next upload I make. I will update it every week, so it will be like, well, I screwed up, but that's how it still looks. We'll figure that out. I'll do some post-game shows for some of the games, mostly the NFC games, because that's what matters most to me. But I'll see you in the next one. Peace.